Now I'd like to show you Tameshigiri, cut on a straw mat, they cut it. 6 different way cut. 1段切り、2段切り、3段切り、4段切り、5段切り、6段切り。6 cut is the highest cut.
Okay, let me explain a little bit about our Tameshigiri in Batto-Do. First thing is we generally practice cutting what we call wara, or this is like a tatami mat in Japan that's used for the flooring. And we roll this up so that it's about this thick, and then we wrap them together and we soak them in the water for about 24 hours or 36 hours, how long ever it takes. And what that does is it gives a consistency that's closer to the neck of the human being. So that kind of gives you a little bit more resistance on this target. Then there's a couple of things about Tameshigiri that you should be aware of if this is your first time. 2 places that people tend to get very badly injured. One is the left hand, the other one is the toes. So when you cut and draw, this is safe. So the best thing to do is start from this position to do the cut at the beginning. Do not practice cut from the draw until you're more experienced and you have a much more advanced into cutting. Okay, because the trouble is when you do draw and cut, you tend to want to draw fast as you can. And saya, with a wooden scabbard, is not built to fight against sword. So it will cut right through, and in which case, when you have your hand here, this will be the first thing that will get cut. So just be careful with that. Second thing with cutting is, especially under Demura sensei, is we cut in 45-degree angles. So you may cut from the top, 45 degrees this way, 45 degrees this way. We also cut from under 45, 45, and also flat, suihegiri, or basically parallel to the ground. So those are the cuts that we make with wara. So when we're doing a up and down, which is the very first cut you would learn, one of the things that's very, very important is when you cut, if you cut from right to left, 45 degrees, you have to make sure your right foot is in the front. The reason is when you cut against the foot, and especially if you're not experienced, I've seen too many people who overcut and then you actually ping this toe, especially if you have a wide foot. So when you cut from right, left, make sure this foot's in the front. When you do reverse, make sure the left foot's in the front. Those are some of the safety rules that we ingrain our students at the Demura Sensei's dojo. When we do the cut the reverse, we tend to cut with foot in the front, and then we go this way so that your hip can actually rotate through the cuts. So if you go the other way, we do this way. We rarely cut in this angle. There's no real safety concern here, except it is possible that somebody can actually cut your own knee on the way up. So it would be safer for you to be cutting this way. So those are some of the things you should be aware of before you start cutting. Okay? So what we'll do next is we'll demonstrate the very first basic cuts. This will be a yondangiri. Yon in Japanese is 4, so there will be 4 cuts. And the cuts can start on left to right or right to left. In this case, for demonstration, I will start in this particular form. So I'll cut this way. I'll switch the feet to cut the opposite direction. I'll cut up, and I'll go into sideways stance, and I'll cut flat. So that's 4 cuts. So let me demonstrate that next as I cut. So I will cut in this slight angle so you can see the movement. So you from here, you bring your hand straight up just like basics. Remember, this is a part of the training. It's not the end goal. So from here, cut. And you want the water to just go straight down in the 45-degree angle. You go back, up, another 45-degree angle. From here, you go up, 45-degree angle, and then from here, you go parallel to ground, cut. Stay focused. Your sword's still out. You can do any of the notos. Just do it nice and slow because you're working with the right blade. Okay? So that's yondangiri. The next couple of things, I'd like to explain a few more things for those that's starting to cut for the first time. When you cut, you want to, as much as possible, even space between the cuts if you can, right? It's not easy as it seems because there's no real targets. We use 5 rubber bands to give a kind of target for people to cut evenly. When it comes to competition, what counts is 1, you need to complete all the cuts. Second thing is you need the angle to be flat and 45 degrees or flat, right? Whichever the angle you cut. And then if assuming 2 competitors are exactly the same, then the next thing is how well it's cut so the mat doesn't go across the room. And then lastly, they will look for the even spacing and also how you cut so that you want to stay poised. You don't want to rush. Cut one at a time in such a fashion, a very purposeful fashion, so that they know that what you know what you're doing. So what I will do next is I'll demonstrate the 5 cuts. So this is godangiri or 5 cuts, very similar to yondangiri. So I will start in the same side, so it looks the same. You switch side, then you do a second kesagiri, then gyak kesagiri and suihegiri. So you're adding one more cut in between. So now that each the mat that you cut, you just need to watch the distance of the mat. So you have enough left to do 5 cuts rather than 4. Okay. godangiri. That's 5 cuts. And as you notice, I left some mats at the bottom, because if you cut this peg, that's also a very large point deduction. So we want to make sure that we leave some space left for the pegs. Okay, next cut that I will demonstrate is rokudangiri or 6 cuts. So now it's getting more cuts out of the same length mat. So we start very similar. So we cut 45, switch side, 45, 45 kesagiri, gyak kesa, and then we put additional kesagiri here, then do. So now you're getting 6 cuts out of the exactly same distance mat. So we need a little bit more precision on each cut. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that next. 6段切り。So this actually became a very good lesson not to do during a cut. If you notice in one of my third cut, I cut a little bit too shallow, so there was a little bit of mat left behind. And then if you go back the video, I paused there purposely so you can see it. And that would be a deduction as well. So cuts were 45, but it was a little bit too shallow because I was trying to keep enough mat for 6 cuts. So those are little things you need to practice and watch out for. Next cut I'll demonstrate is called inazuma. And basically it's kesagiri, gyak kesa, kesagiri, except we'll do them in a sequence. So it's a little bit quicker between the cuts. Okay. So the key point here is you have to maintain the 45 degrees on all the 3 cuts, and we're basically doing it in succession to show combination control of the blade with your hands and also your body movements. The next cut I will be demonstrating will use 2 mats. So I'll cut first mat this way, second mat this way, and the third cut will be through both mats on 1 cut. So this takes a little bit more power and speed, especially on the third cut. Let me demonstrate that next. Right, so. Okay, next sequence, I'll demonstrate something a little bit different. So I'll cut that mat first, and I'll turn around and cut that mat at the second mat. So this will be kind of simulating two people coming at me from front and back. Okay? Hey! Hey!
I'm gonna come down 45 Kisagiri and Yaki Kesa. Hey! Hey! Hey!
Oktan giri.
Okay. I'm gonna go for a Gyaku and Suihegiri, all in one cut.
Make sure you watch the practice, watch the people, and then end up the training over, bow, same way like the beginning. はい。正面に。はい。はい、お互いに。はい。Right. Right. That's it. Thank you.